I thank you for staying with us. It's Monday edition of Your Business Nigeria. Now, Nigeria's economic outlook in 2025 is worrying to some figures back and forth with inflation rates, Naira hovering around 1,500 and 1,600 to $1. Removal of fuel subsidies, increasing fuel prices, transport costs, just like my earlier conversation, has affected purchasing power. Now, the private sector struggles now to finance housing development with limited fiscal space and high borrowing costs. The federal government's new tax reform bill 2024 aims to address revenue shortfalls by widening the tax net, and real estate is a prime target. The bill proposes stricter enforcement of capital gains tax, broader applications of stamp duties, and an eventual increase in VAT. While these measures could boost public finances, the risk of overburdening developers and property owners without proper safeguards. Now, a first step towards reform is ensuring accurate, regular property valuations. Now, the Nigerian Institution of Estate Valuers is crucial in standardizing valuations. Without them, fair property taxation and effective real estate governance are impossible. Leveraging their expertise is essential. As the institution celebrates 2025 Valuation Day, the theme for this year is tax reforms for national economic prosperity, while tax professionals' valuation matters. Well, let's talk to the number one man there. He is the president and the chairman of Council, Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers, Estate Surveyor Victor Adekunle Alonge. Thank you so much. It's good to have you on the program this Monday afternoon.
Thank you very much, Tolu. I'm glad to be here, and well done for the good job you're doing, and for what TVC is doing to ensure proper information and communication.
Thank you.
To Nigerians. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. We really appreciate your kind words. Well, let's start. I can see you. I'm sure a lot of activities has been lined up. Tell us, it's another year, 2025 Valuation Day, and you're focusing this time on tax reforms for national economic prosperity. Tell us more about this.
Thank you very much. This is about the fourth edition of Valuation Day. It's a day we mark, to increase the level of awareness among Nigerians of the importance of valuation. Valuation is key to economic stability or financial stability. We have seen, during the previous, the last two or so economic crises globally, what caused it. It's asset mispricing. And this year we are actually focusing our theme on tax reform, because we believe so much that the ongoing tax reform bill discussion at the National Assembly is a positive policy, movement by the government. It is a bill that should be supported, and when it comes to law, I think there is a lot for Nigerians to benefit from. And we're saying, why valuation matters? What is actually the importance of valuation in all this? I think, over the years, we've had some positive response as a result of our advocacy and enlightenment of the importance of valuation. And what we intend to achieve this year is to bring to focus the importance of valuers, of valuation in achieving the objective of the tax reform bill. I mean, it's still tax reform bill, but I want to believe, that it's going to be the tax reform law eventually. So we're actually, with faith, believing that it is the bill will be passed into law and then the implementation. So what is actually the importance of valuation there? We have seen that the bill will introduce a new tax band and progressive rate of taxation. It means that higher income will be taxed, higher, and lower income will either be exempted or taxed at the lower rate. You see, the high income taxation, those who earn more, those who are richer, will be the focus, because they have to pay, appropriately, for the development of the country, which is actually what obtains in all civilized and developed world. So it is in this area, for instance, how do you now determine the value of the assets and the value of this, mega rich or corporation or individual? That's where valuation actually comes in. The bill is going to reduce the tax burden on low-income earners and improve disposable income. And it's also very interesting. It's positive for the real estate sector because real estate transaction, which has been a subject of controversy in terms of is VAT applicable to real estate transactions in terms of land purchase, sale of land and buildings, and rent, for instance. I think for the first time we're having this clarity that real estate transaction will be exempted from VAT, which is policy clarity, which is very, very, very encouraging. And this issue of stamp duty exemption will also come in for transactions, rental income, for instance, up to 10 million naira per month, and of course, which is also important for those who own their houses, those who sell houses. Maybe you have 2-bedroom flat, you want to sell it and buy bigger accommodation, maybe because your family has increased in terms of number. You will be exempted from paying capital gains tax. So these are innovative and creative policy decisions which will actually help the economy and stimulate productivity. So we come in to say, look, when it comes to determining the value, the assets, the value of the assets that will be subject to this proper assessment, valuation matters. You need to make sure that there is fairness in this assessment, and it starts with the value of those assets. That is where we come in as professionals. And I'm sure you know also, Tolu, that estate surveyors and valuers are the professionals that are charged, by law of this country and by their training to determine the value of those assets. Yeah. And that is why we are creating this awareness further, that please, it is important to understand that valuation matters even as we prepare for the full implementation of this bill, which will effectively come into law.
I think it's a great way, a great overview, I must say, Mr. President, overview of all of this, the team and what the day stands for. But as you're the president and chairman of council, we know that your role is to handle valuation of assets and all of that, like you've highlighted. What are you also doing to maintain best global practices to make sure that universal standard is sustained across the board?
Thank you very much, Tulu. You see, thank you. The first thing to let you know is that there is a global standard setting body called the International Valuation Standards Council. And what they produce is the International Valuation Standard, which is, I think there are over 200 countries that have signed up to this, and there are about 70 valuation professional organizations all over the world. And I'm pleased to let you know that the Nigerian Institute of Estate Surveyors and Valuers is actually one of those 70. And also in Africa here, what we are doing to actually ensure that our valuation are actually, in line with the standard, the global best practice. Nigeria, that's our country, and through the Nigerian Institute of Estate Surveyors and Valuers and the Estate Surveyors and Valuers Board of Nigeria, which is a regulatory body, produced the first ever domestication of the international valuation standards in Africa. The international valuation standard was domesticated by us, and that is the first in Africa. No other country has been able to do that. As a matter of fact, colleague professional bodies in other countries like South Africa, Kenya, and so on. They were surprised the way we did it. And that is our Bible now. That is what we follow. And various classes of property valuation, asset valuation, whether it is plant and equipment, whether it is land and building, whether it is, financial instrument, everything is stated there. And in the delivery framework of that valuation standard, which we have, we call it the Nigerian valuation standard, is actually the RICS Red Book, which is also a global practice document. So we on our part, have this document, which is actually in line with the global best practice as issued by the International Valuation Standards Council, and we domesticated it to make sure that the provisions of that document is actually done within our local context, but still meeting the international standards. And that's what we do. And also we take, very, very special interest in our members' mandatory continuing professional development. We don't joke with it because economy and even the various services, they are dynamic. And you cannot say because you have this knowledge, you have acquired it, some years back, it's still going to be relevant now. We keep on developing. And that is our way of making sure that our services are world class, in every area. And I'm really pleased that we've been able to do that, but we are improving.
I was just thinking, let me play the devil's advocate here. If we get valuation wrong, what are the implications?
Wow. That's a very, very, very important question. I think my answer would be, I will refer you back to the 2008 financial crisis. If you get valuation right, it destabilizes the financial system of the country. Because, let me tell you, the financial system relies heavily on the operation of the banking system. And the banking system, the primary role of the banks is actually to provide facilities for economic development. And where you have opportunity to apply for these facilities, the bank actually asks for collateral. Now, the collateral is actually, they will look at your ability to pay back if it's a business loan or whatever the business you're bringing forward. They will look at how that is going to repay the facility amount. And if they are convinced, they go ahead. But going ahead, they will still require, collateral assets. And in most cases, these are actually property. And if you get the valuation of those properties upon which the bank now rely in, making their decision to go ahead with the facility, if you get it wrong, then you can imagine the ripple effect on the economy. And I'm sure you remember also, how the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria came in. A lot of banks were, became distressed because of the asset mispricing of the security that they had, and they became illiquid. And in recovering these assets, some of those assets, the values were actually because of the economy, the movement in the economy. The values were actually now challenged in terms of what they had on their books and so on. So the implication of getting valuation wrong to the wider economy is serious, and I think it is simple to say it will precipitate financial instability, and that is not what we want in any economy.
So what more would you like estate valuers, of course, what we would like them to know as we celebrate this year's valuation day, side by side with the fact that how are you also checking excesses of some not professionals that are trying to do your job? Because I was reading through your press statement today, and I saw that it is illegal for a non-estate surveying and valuers to do some of this or carry out any of these activities. What are you doing also to address those kind of challenges, and what more do you want Nigerians and members to know this year?
Thank you very much. I think our greatest effort is channeled towards making sure that the general public is kept aware of the need to patronize professionals and the danger of actually patronizing quacks. You see, we call them quacks, those who are non-professional that are operating in our sector. But the point is, we need to understand this. There is hardly any sector that you don't have imposters, the quacks. You have it in medical profession. You have it in even banking. That's why you have all these funny finance houses and so on. But what we are doing in our own case is to make sure that we step up our advocacy drive to provide, adequate information to the public to let them know the danger of actually patronizing quacks, so that they are not penny wise and pound foolish. Again, we also let the public know that as a profession, we have a proper structure, that actually takes care of our operation and then protects our clients. In the professional, you see, the profession actually rests on two bodies. The VPO, which is the Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers, that is a valuation professional organization, and then the regulators, which is the Estate Surveyors and Valuation Board of Nigeria, which is a government regulatory body. Those two are two sides of the same coin, and we both have, framework to actually check excesses. So if there are issues about services provided by our members, there are clear guidelines and clear process to go to ensure that you get, proper attention. And for the quacks that are practicing in our territory, again, we have law which is supposed to be complied with. We have enforcement. I think we also work with law enforcement agencies to ensure that when issues of this nature come up, we have working relationship with them to ensure that those people are brought to book, justice served on them, so as to deter others from actually causing this damage, to not just the individual client, but it has impacts on the economy, as a whole. So we operate within a system where we need, cooperation of law enforcement agencies, to ensure that the provisions of the law are actually complied with. We know that it's not that we don't have law in most of our activities in this country. We have laws, and there are clear guidelines about compliance. But our problem has always been the compromisation of compliance and then lack of effective enforcement. And enforcement will have to be spearheaded by the enforcement agencies. And this, we work with the law enforcement agencies. And, I think we are making progress. Again, what we also do is to make sure that our colleagues, our members, provide quality professional service, so that clients will also know for themselves that, look, I think I'm better. It's better for me to actually go through this route. And this year, our focus, our attention is actually, to show our support for what is going on in terms of the tax reform bill, and also to, let the public, officials, government agencies, and so on understand that yes, we are here to support. We are here to ensure that you have you record success in this laudable policy that will soon become law. But we are here to work with you to make sure that you achieve your purpose. So that's why we're here.
As a surveyor, Victor Adekunle Alonge, President, Chairman of Council, Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers. Thank you so much. Wish you a great day, a great week. I know there's a lot of work lined up. All the best.
Yeah, I don't know, Tolu, thank you so much, but I also want to let you know that
1 minute.
After today...
yes. Go ahead, go ahead.
Thank you, Tolu. Thank you so much. I just also want to let you know that after today's program, the evaluation day, our conference starts, effectively tomorrow. Okay. And again, we are talking about tax, finance, and then the real estate sector. It is going to be, wonderful week for real estate and then professionals. And we have an array of speakers and, government officials attending. And it's going to be at Abuja Continental Hotel. And we invite, of course, I think we have invited TVC and other stations. So we're going to have a full week of activities. And I look forward to seeing you there, Tolu.
All right, then. Yes,